Hello, I am Han Yoon Soo. I teach gymnastics at Gyeongbuk University. Today, in order for martial arts learners to learn various martial arts techniques, I will teach you step-by-step practice methods of tumbling moves of gymnastics and effective guidance tips. Therefore, you will easily learn the beginner's level, which includes from handstand to handspring, and upper level, which includes from back handspring to reverse handspring. Let's begin the first course of the acrobatics training for martial arts demonstration. I will explain the step-by-step practice methods and guidance tips of handstand. First step is to make an arc with your body. The arc position is a very important exercise for building up the power needed for handstand. If you don't have the power, you cannot perform the handstand properly. That is important. To exercise building up power in your body, that is why for the first step, we are going to the banana position posture. As lying down, lift your arms and legs and take banana posture. This exercise will strengthen your body from your toes to your arms and abdomen. Next is to form an arc position as lying on your belly. The most important when doing this is that your back should not be slackened. If your back slacks down, your back will be bent while doing a handstand. That's why it is good form to the arc position with your back like this. If you just raise your legs when you are in an arc position, you can perform an almost ideal handstand. If you repeat this move continuously, it will strengthen your body. For the second step, let's do a frog posture. The frog posture will help your balance. Because balancing is very important in a handstand, we are doing exercises to enhance the balance. The most important is forming a triangle. The positions of your eyes and hands should form a triangle. You may balance like this. If you repeatedly practice this move, it will enhance your ability to balance. For the third step, let's try handstand with your head on the ground. Here, you should also form a triangle with your head and hands. In triangle position, raise your hips straight and slowly unbend your knees. This will also enhance your ability to balance in handstand. This handstand with your head on the ground Next move is to try handstand with your knees bent. When doing this, an assistant should hold the shoulder so that the shoulders of the performer do not fall. And with another hand, hold the legs of the performer so that it becomes 90 degrees. With such assistance, beginner who may try handstand for the first time can overcome the fear and perform handstand. The fifth step is to practice kicks while doing handstand. Put your hands in shoulder length. Keep the leg straight when kicking. Here, it is important to lean your back backwards in order for your hips to be comfortable. This will help you later when doing a proper handstand. With your back leaning backwards, kick your legs and perform handstand by putting your legs together. The assistant can support the kicking legs. This was step-by-step explanation of how to practice handstand. Next is how to practice a forward roll. First step is to do a rocking chair position. As lying down, your hands should hold onto your knees. Then roll your body into a round shape, almost like a ball. Rock your body back and forth. The second step is to handstand on your neck. Do a rocking chair position. With both arms straight, raise your body. Do a rocking chair position. When doing this, put strength on your hips to keep the body straight. It is very important that the entire body is straight. Next, in this position, let's try to stand up. This was a step-by-step explanation of how to practice forward roll. Now, let's try a forward roll. Next is practical application of a forward roll. It is forward roll in handstand position. First, in a handstand position, Your legs should be straight. And your knees should be bent, placed behind your head. Roll your back, and as moving like a rocking chair, stand up. This was a forward roll, and various practical application of a forward roll. It is best to perform a forward roll in a crouched position like a ball. By using various practical applications of a forward roll, when you develop your skills, you may master techniques like forward somersault. Next is how to practice a forward roll with split. The first step is to push the hands to form a split position. In a split, put your hands on front and try lifting your hips. Practice repeatedly this move. The second step is to stand up in a split by pushing with your hands. If it is too difficult to stand up alone, the assistant may slightly lift the performer's hips. Stand up with your arms spread. After practicing this move, and when you become familiar with it, try standing up to form a split in rocking chair position. The third step is to stand up from a rocking chair position with split. Stretch your body in a rocking chair position and try standing up with a split. If it is difficult to stand up alone, the assistant may slightly lift the performer. The fourth step is to do a forward roll with split, using an inclined mattress. Make an inclined mattress by using a beat board like this. Try a forward roll with split in this condition. If you use inclined mattress like this, even beginners can easily perform forward roll with split. Let's watch it once more. This was a step-by-step explanation of how to practice a forward roll with split. I will explain to you once more, step by step, how to practice a forward roll with split. First, put your hands down. Push with your knees and make a split. It is important that you put your hands down on the mattress quickly, before your legs touch the mattress. And then you should stand up. This was how to practice a forward roll with split. This was how to practice a forward roll with split. First, make your legs flexible. And then do a forward roll with split. Next is how to practice a straight leg forward roll. The first step is to push your hands and stretch your knees from sitting position. When doing this, as pushing your hands, lift your hips. As your chest is leaning forward, push hard with your arms and lift your hips. The second step is to push your hands from a rocking chair position. The third step is to do a forward roll using an inclined mattress. Let's watch again. I will explain to you the points to keep in mind when performing a straight-legged forward roll. When the upper body goes away from your legs, your weight falls back and becomes hard to stand up. You can stand up easier when your body is close to your legs. Let's stand up and try the move once more. Put your chest close to your legs and stand up. this was how to practice a straight leg forward roll. The most important is that when pushing your knees, to stand up with your upper body. Close your legs. Next is how to practice a dive roll. Let's try a forward roll to a high-piled mattress. Let's watch a dive roll. Next step is to try a dive roll to plain mattress. The assistant should support the thigh and the chest of the performer. Let's try a dive roll. When doing a dive roll, if your legs do not turn quickly enough, you might fall on your head. That is why you must be careful. The assistant should support the performer's thighs and chest and help the rotation. Support vertically like this. And the performer can do a forward roll. Easier and safer. Next step is step-by-step explanation of how to practice a cartwheel. The first step is to bend knees. And to do a cartwheel with your feet together. Now, let's try a cartwheel. Just with one leg. The third step is to do a cartwheel with an assistant. The assistant should sit like this, by the back of the performer, and then support the flank and help stand like this. Support the flank and help stand. Let's try again. I will explain points you should keep in mind when performing a cartwheel. First, as standing in straight line, go one step and put your left hand in line. With your left foot and then your right arm, it is important that your feet steps down in a straight line. Let's try again. Lift both feet and go one step. It is important that your left and right hands are placed in a straight line. The most important point in a cartwheel is that after one step, your left and right hands should stay in a straight line with your feet. It is important that your hands should be parallel so that they stay in a straight line. Only with good cartwheel 1, you can do a round off, which supports different techniques. Next is explanation of how to practice a round off. The first step is skipping. When doing this, stretch your arms upwards. Bend one leg, jump forwards. Do a skipping step. When doing a skipping step, both of your arms should be straight and one knee bent. Then push hard with the supporting leg and move forward. Let's try a skipping step. Follow the skipping step. Let's try snap down from a handstand. In snap down move from a handstand, lean backwards a little bit, pulling legs down and simultaneously stand up, as pushing hard with your arms. Let's try a snap down. Next step is to fall from handstand. After changing the falling direction, first, in a side turn, put your right hand on a vertical line, about 15 degrees from the vertical line. Then, twist your hand like this. In this position, put your legs together in a handstand. And then, after changing the falling direction, let's try falling from a handstand. After changing the direction. This was a step-by-step explanation of how to practice a round-off. The reason that round-off is important is that you may do a backhand right after a round-off, and also a somersault after a round-off. It's a preparation move. This reason is why you must practice the round-off in details. Next step-by-step explanation of how to practice a backwards roll. First, in a sitting position, place the hands next to the ears. And pull your knees into the rocking chair position. Next, make slopes like this. And perform backward roll. The performer should stand like this. And perform backward roll on an inclined mattress. In case of a beginner, backward roll might be difficult because there is not enough rotation. That is why it is important to sit far from the knees. In order to get enough rotation. The beginners usually sit close to the heels, resulting in a lack of rotation. And the backward roll becomes very difficult. Therefore, get plenty of rotation by sitting away from the heels. For the next move, your knees to your ears. Like a ball, and push hard with the arms. When performing a backward roll, To obtain sufficient rotation, it is important to sit away from the heels and to pull the knees quickly, forming a ball shape. And when standing up, push hard with your arms. If you can perform the backward roll well, you may also learn backward somersault. Please practice continuously. Next is how to practice a backward roll with split. On an inclined mattress like this, perform backward roll with split. The performer should stand like this, and then do a backward roll with split on an inclined mattress. Backward roll with split when landing. When perform backward roll with split, first split your legs far apart. Then lean forward to hold on to the mattress. After that, slowly roll backward. Here, you should put your legs together. Kick backwards and simultaneously push your arms. When doing this, the assistant should support the performer's waist and shoulders and help turn like this. When performing backward roll with split, spread your legs far apart. In sitting position, roll backwards as putting your legs together. Then, kick backwards and simultaneously push your arms and stand up. By doing this, you may easily perform the backward roll. Next is explanation of how to practice a straight leg backward roll. The first step is to form a rocking chair position by leaning down with straight legs. Let's try rocking chair position. With your knees unbent. The second step is to perform backward roll on an inclined mattress. Like before, stand straight. Lean your chest forward and perform a backward roll by powerfully kicking. When doing this, it will be difficult for beginners to perform backward rolls with knees unbent alone. The assistant should support the waist and chest of the performer. This was how to practice straight leg backward roll. The most important thing is, as rolling back, when your back touches the mattress, kick hard and simultaneously push upwards hard with your arms. Next is how to practice a handstand after a backward roll. The first step is to roll back and handstand by supporting on your neck. Like this, assistant should support the performer's legs. Let's try once more. For the next step, let's try handstand after a backward roll with help from the assistant. When doing this, the assistant should hold the performer's legs and pull upwards. Next, I will explain to you in details how to perform a handstand after a backward roll. When your knees are placed vertically, stretch your legs. As rolling like this. And together, raise your arms. I will show you again how to do a handstand after a backward roll. When standing, sit with hands supporting. As rolling back, stretch your legs. When knees are placed vertically and simultaneously push your arms powerfully. Proper timing is most important in backwards roll and handstand. Therefore, as mentioned before, when your knees are placed vertically, stretch your arms and simultaneously push your arms upwards. This will enable the perfect handstand. Next is step-by-step explanation of how to practice a neck spring. First of all, forming an arc position in the air is most important in neck spring. The first step is to practice the arch position. The performer should lie down, and the assistant should hold the performer's arms and powerfully lift them. The second step is on a high mattress. Hold with both hands on the mattress. When the neck touches the mattress, your body should be completely folded. And then stretch your body in 45 degrees. Push hard with the arms. When doing this, the assistant should support the performer's back. I will teach you the proper way to perform a neck spring easily. First, hold the mattress by your shoulder width. Your neck should be behind your hands as much as possible. At the moment your neck touches the ground, your body should stretch where it was folded, in full strength, in the 45 degrees. Simultaneously, you should push your arms up. The neck spring is the preparation for the handspring. For a good handspring, you should sufficiently practice the neck spring. You may perfectly perform a handspring. Next is step-by-step explanation of how to practice a head spring. The performers should set up to a high-piled mattress. First, hold on to the mattress. Your head should be placed so that your head and hands form a triangle. Next, kick hard as moving your hips. By maximum 90 degrees. When doing this, like in neck spring, the assistant should support the performer's back. The essentials of head spring is that the position of the hands and the head should form a triangle. Next, the hips should move 90 degrees. And the arms should powerfully push to 45 degrees. forming an arc. And from there, you can just fall. Next is step-by-step explanation of how to practice a handspring. First, let's try falling. Backwards in handstand position. Place a mattress like this and perform handstand. From the handstand position, fall backwards so that your entire body hits the mattress. The second step is to come to a running and do the handstand. After handstand, try snapping. The third step is kicking. In a handspring, kicking is very important. The performer should place his hands on a mattress, and the assistant should support the shoulders and the kicking leg. You may also assist by holding from the side. This was kicking practice. If there is no assistant, place the mattress against the wall and practice kicking on your own. The fourth step is in arch position. The performer should lie down, and the assistant should hold the wrists of the performers and lift up after 1, 2, 3 count. It is very important that the performer carefully form an arch with his back. The fifth step is for the performer to fall backwards to the high-piled mattresses by using his back. When the performer forms an arch position, the assistant should help him stand by supporting his back. This was how to practice handspring step by step. To accurately perform handspring, practice repeatedly the step-by-step exercises. The most important is that your shoulders do not fall vertically. It is most ideal to form a perfect arch position in the air after kicking powerfully. Next is how to practice a back handspring. First, let's practice how to sit. With both arms raised, lower your arms and sit by bending your knees. Here, an assistant should hold the back of the performer. The second step is to practice how to jump backwards. Here, an assistant should support the back of the performer. If there is no assistant, practice falling on a mattress like this. When jumping backwards, try to jump as far as possible. After jumping, legs should not be bent like this. but they should remain straight in an arched position. The third step is to practice an arched position while lying down. Place both hands next to your ears and lift your back to make an arch. The fourth step is to actually practice by turning backwards by using your legs. This is how to practice with two assistants to a performer. Like this, two assistants should hold to each other's wrists. And the performer should sit on the assistant's arms. The next step is to lift slightly in the sitting position. The fifth step is to perform back handspring from a higher position to a lower position, like this. Here, the assistants should support the back and the waist of the performer. These are the matters of real back handspring when performing back handspring. First, sit with your arms raised. And when pushing, be careful so that your upper body does not lean forward. If you do not fully push your knees back, your knees will lean forward like this. And you cannot adequately perform a back handspring. Therefore, in a back handspring, if your arms are bent, you might not be able to perform a perfect back handspring. The most important thing is to make sure that your upper body is straight so that it does not lean forward, and to push your knees back. As far as possible. Next is how to practice the continuous back handspring. The first step is to jump on your back onto a mattress after performing a back handspring. It is important to jump as far as possible after the back handspring. Next important thing is that after jumping, your knees should not come up. Therefore, it is important that you perform an arch in the position. The second step is to perform back handspring from a handstand position and falling on your back on the mattress. Let's try continuous back handspring with an assistant. When performing, an assistant should support the waist of the performer. You should keep these in mind when performing continuous back handspring. After the first back handspring, your arms should be like this. Your arms should be in front. If your arms are in the back, you will be beat with power for the next back handspring. That is why it is important that your arms are in the front after a back handspring. If possible, it is important to go far when performing continuous back handspring. Next is how to practice round off and back handspring. The first step is to fall on your back to an inclined mattress in round off position. When jumping in a round off, it's best to jump as far as possible. After jumping, your legs should not bend. It's important that your legs stay stretched. If your legs are bent, you might fall on your neck. Keep your legs stretched like this and fall on your back. I will tell you the key points of round off and back handspring. First, after performing a round off, if your hands are far apart like this, from your feet, you might injure your knees. While doing a back handspring, therefore, it is important to place your hands as close as possible to your feet. That will enable you to perform a back handspring sufficiently away from a round-off. Next is how to practice round-off and back handspring. The first step is to fall on your back to an inclined mattress in round-off position. When jumping in a round-off, it's best to jump as far as possible. After jumping, your legs should not bend. It's important that your legs stay stretched. If your legs are bent, you might fall on your neck. Keep your legs stretched like this and fall on your back. I will tell you the key points of round-off and back handspring. First, after performing a round-off, if your hands are far apart like this, from your feet, you might injure your knees. While doing a back handspring, therefore, it is important to place your hands as close as possible to your feet. That will enable you to perform a back handspring sufficiently away from a round-off. Next is how to practice a backward somersault. The first step is to lie down and forming a tucking position. With your arms raised in lying position, hold onto your knees round like a ball into a tucking posture. Tuck like this. The second step is to do a backward roll from a high-piled mattress. Let's practice. Form a tucking posture with arms raised and rolling backwards to the position. The assistant should support the back with the left hand to help the performer to easily roll backwards. The third step is to try backward somersault with two assistants. I will tell you how to assist a backward somersault. The performer's hands should face his face. The assistant should hold on to the performer's palm, and with another hand hold the performer's wrist. And another assistant should support the performer's back to help the rotation of backward somersault. Finally, when landing, it is very important to maintain the height. Let's try a backward somersault. If there's only one assistant, perform backward somersault from a higher position to a lower position. Performers should stand in a high position like this, and the assistant should hold on to the clothes on the waist of the performer, and next hold on tightly until the performer lands safely. This was step-by-step explanation of how to practice backward somersault. You should keep in mind that instead of jumping straight up, it's better to jump by pushing 15 to 25 degrees backward. When jumping, bend your knees quickly if possible to help your hips rotate fast. It is very important to pull the abdomen. Next, check the mattress you're going to fall, and then land. This was the essential points of performing backward somersault. It is better to jump 15 to 25 degrees backward than it is to jump straight up. When jumping, make your body round, like a ball in the air. Next is to keep your eye on the mattress when falling and to land safely. Next is how to practice a round off and backward somersault. Pile the mattresses high like this. It's okay to pile it higher. From the mattress, run and jump to the high piled mattress. And then form a tucking position. When jumping onto the mattress, if you mistakenly rotate too much, you might fall on your neck and get a neck injury. Therefore, you should keep in mind to take a position like this, so that your back falls first. The next step is to do a round-off, then a backward somersault. When doing this, the assistant should support the waist and help the rotation. This was how to perform round-off and back somersault. As in the first step, it is very important to practice rotation thoroughly. Then try backward somersault in round-off. Next is how to practice a round-off and backward stretch somersault. The first step is to do a stretched backward somersault from a high position. Like this, the performer should stand on a high position, and the assistant should support the performer's waist. From there, do a stretched backward somersault. Next is to try a stretched backward somersault after a round-off with assistance. You have just learned round-off and backward stretch somersault. As you have learned before in round-off, practice backward somersault with bent knees. And then do a stretched backward somersault. is how to practice a side somersault. The first step is to do a turn to your side. The second step is to try a side somersault with an assistant. When performing a side somersault, move your arms down from raised position. The assistant should support the performer's waist and help the rotation. Hold on to the waist until the performer lands. This was how to practice a side somersault. The key points are as pulling the arms down, twist the body to the side, and pull your bent knees close to the body. It is important to land with your knees bent.